The smarter your brain is, the harder it becomes to feel peaceful. Let me start with a simple question. Have you ever noticed that the people who think the most often suffer the most? They analyze everything. They replay conversations from years ago. They imagine futures that may never happen. They question their own decisions again and again. And strangely, many of them are intelligent. Sometimes very intelligent. So here's the uncomfortable question we're going to explore today. Why do intelligent people overthink so much? And why does that often make them unhappy? Because if intelligence is supposed to make life better, why does it sometimes feel like a curse? Tonight, while you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, your brain creating problems out of thin air. This video might explain exactly why that happens. But be warned, once you understand this, you may never look at your own thoughts the same way again. Let's begin somewhere unexpected. Imagine a human living 50,000 years ago. No smartphones, no careers, no social status, no existential crises. Just survival. Back then, the human brain evolved for one purpose: to detect danger. The humans who constantly asked, what if something goes wrong? What if there's a predator? Now fast forward to today. The predators are gone, the forests are replaced by cities, but the brain is still the same. It still scans for threats. It still imagines worst-case scenarios. It still asks, what if? The difference? Today, the threats are invisible. What if I fail? What if I disappoint people? What if I chose the wrong life? What if I never become enough? This is where intelligence enters the story. An intelligent brain has one dangerous advantage. It can imagine many futures. The smarter you are, the more patterns you see. The more patterns you see, the more possibilities you create. And the more possibilities you create, the more problems your brain invents. Your mind becomes a simulation machine. It simulates conversations that never happened, arguments that never occurred, failures that never arrived. And here's the cruel irony. Most intelligent people believe they are thinking logically. But overthinking is not logic. It's fear wearing the mask of intelligence. Psychologists call this rumination. Rumination is when your brain repeatedly chews on the same thought, hoping to solve it, but never actually letting it go. Studies show that people with higher cognitive abilities are more prone to rumination, not because they are weak, but because their brains refuse to shut down. Now here's the disturbing part. Your brain does not care about your happiness. Read that again. Your brain does not care about your happiness. It cares about survival. Happiness is optional. Survival is mandatory. So if your brain thinks that worrying, analyzing, and preparing for every possible failure will keep you alive, it will do that endlessly, even if it destroys your peace. This is why intelligent people often feel mentally exhausted. They don't just live life, they process life. Every emotion becomes a question. Every decision becomes a calculation. Every mistake becomes a life lesson replayed 100 times. Now let me tell you something even more uncomfortable. Intelligence increases awareness, and increased awareness increases suffering. This idea isn't new. More than 2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher Socrates famously said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But what most people don't mention is the hidden cost of examining life too deeply. When you start questioning everything, you lose the comfort of simple answers. Ignorance can be peaceful. Awareness is heavy. This is why some of the happiest people you'll meet are not the smartest ones in the room. They don't overanalyze. They don't question their worth every night. They don't search for meaning in every experience. They just live. Meanwhile, intelligent people often feel disconnected. They feel like observers of life, not participants. They're always one thought away from the present moment. And here's another psychological trap. Intelligent people tend to predict outcomes accurately. But the brain doesn't distinguish between prediction and reality. If you imagine a failure vividly enough, your body reacts as if it already happened. Philosophers notice this. Heart rate increases, stress hormones release, anxiety builds. So even when nothing is wrong, you feel like something is wrong. This is why intelligent people are more prone to anxiety and depression. Not because they are broken, but because their minds are too good at their job. Now let's talk about perfectionism. Intelligence often creates high standards. You don't just want to succeed, you want to succeed correctly. You don't just want relationships, you want meaningful ones. You don't just want work, you want purpose. But high standards create a dangerous equation. High expectations, reality is equal to disappointment, and disappointment, repeated over time, turns into unhappiness. There's also something else happening beneath the surface. Intelligent people are more aware of how little control they actually have. They understand randomness. They understand uncertainty. They understand that effort doesn't always guarantee success. This awareness destroys comforting illusions. Illusions like, everything happens for a reason. Hard work always pays off. Good people always win. When those illusions collapse, existential anxiety enters. You start asking questions like, what's the point of all this? Does anything really matter? Am I just wasting time? And these questions don't have satisfying answers. So your brain keeps asking them again and again and again. This is why intelligent people often feel lost, even when they are successful. From the outside, everything looks fine. But inside, there's constant noise, thoughts fighting thoughts, doubts questioning doubts. Now here's a paradox most people miss. Intelligence helps you understand the world, but wisdom helps you live in it. And many intelligent people mistake one for the other. They sharpen the mind, but neglect emotional regulation. They learn facts, but not acceptance. They train logic, but not peace. So intelligence becomes unbalanced, like a powerful engine without brakes. And the result? Mental burnout, overthinking, unhappiness. But this story doesn't end here. Because there's one final realization that changes everything. And it starts with this uncomfortable truth. Your thoughts are not you. Just because your brain produces a thought doesn't mean it deserves your attention. Intelligent people often identify with their thoughts. They believe, if I think it, it must be important. But thoughts are just mental events. Random, biased, often wrong. And here's the twist. Peace doesn't come from thinking better. It comes from thinking less. The happiest minds are not the smartest ones. They are the quietest ones. And the real skill intelligent people must learn is not more analysis, it's knowing when to stop, because a mind that can solve complex problems can also learn to rest. And that is where intelligence finally stops being a curse. But here's where most intelligent people misunderstand the solution. They think the answer is to control thoughts. They try to force positivity. They try to silence the mind. They try to fix themselves. And that only makes it worse. Because the mind doesn't calm down through force. It calms down through understanding. Think about this. If your brain evolved to detect danger, then overthinking is not your enemy. It's your brain trying to protect you. In a world that no longer requires constant protection. The problem is not intelligence. The problem is that intelligence is operating on outdated software. A modern mind running ancient survival code. So the real question becomes, how does an intelligent person live peacefully in a world that constantly triggers the mind? The answer lies in something deeply counterintuitive. Let's talk about awareness. Highly intelligent people are very good at thinking about thoughts, but peace comes from watching thoughts, not following them. This distinction is subtle, but life-changing. When a thought appears like, what if I fail? Most people either panic and believe it, or fight it aggressively. But there's a third option. Observation. You notice the thought, without attaching meaning to it. This ability is not philosophical fluff. Neuroscience confirms it. Studies on mindfulness show that when people observe thoughts without judgment, activity in the brain's fear centers decreases. The thought still appears, but it loses power. This is why some of the wisest people in history emphasized silence over intellect. Buddha didn't say, think harder, he said, see clearly. Stoic philosophers didn't say, control life. They said, control your response, because they understood something modern society forgot. Not every problem is meant to be solved. Some are meant to be released. Now let's address something important. Intelligent people often feel misunderstood. They feel out of place, different, disconnected. That's because intelligence creates distance. You see patterns others don't. You question things others accept. You doubt what others blindly follow. This creates loneliness, and loneliness feeds overthinking. The mind starts turning inward, analyzing itself. This is why intelligent people often feel trapped inside their own heads. So connection becomes crucial, not intellectual. Human connection, presence, real conversations, moments where thinking stops. Notice something interesting. Your mind is quiet when you are fully engaged, when you're deeply focused, when you're laughing uncontrollably, when you're absorbed in creation. Overthinking disappears not when life is perfect, but when attention is complete. This reveals a powerful truth. Overthinking is not a thinking problem, it's an attention problem. The mind wanders because it lacks grounding. Now let's talk about meaning. Intelligent people search for meaning obsessively. They want life to make sense, but meaning is not found through analysis. Meaning is experienced. A sunset doesn't need explanation. Music doesn't need logic. Love doesn't need certainty. Yet, intelligent minds keep asking, but why? And in doing so, they miss the moment. This creates a strange form of suffering. You understand life, but don't feel it. You explain emotions, but don't experience peace. This is why many intelligent people feel empty even when they succeed, because success answers external questions, but not internal ones. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Intelligent people often delay living. They think, I'll be happy when I understand more, when I fix myself, when life becomes clearer, but life never becomes clearer. It only becomes now, and now doesn't need full understanding. It needs participation. This is where wisdom overtakes intelligence. Wisdom accepts uncertainty. Intelligence tries to eliminate it. But uncertainty is unavoidable. And fighting it creates suffering. Accepting it creates freedom. Now let's bring everything together. Intelligence amplifies thought. Thought amplifies fear. Fear amplifies suffering. Unless intelligence learns humility. Humility to admit, I don't need to solve everything. The most peaceful, intelligent people are not those who think the least. They are those who know when thinking is unnecessary. They allow boredom, allow silence. They allow not knowing. This feels terrifying at first, because the intelligent mind equates control with safety. But safety doesn't come from control. It comes from trust. Trust that life can be lived, even without constant analysis. And here's the final realization. Intelligence is a tool, not an identity. When you believe you are your intelligence, every thought feels personal. Every doubt feels threatening. But when intelligence becomes something you use, not something you are, peace returns. You think when needed. You stop when not. That balance is rare, but it is learnable. And when an intelligent mind finally learns to rest, it becomes something extraordinary. Not anxious, not unhappy, not trapped, but clear, present, alive. So maybe intelligence isn't the reason people suffer. Maybe it's the reason they are capable of awakening. If they learn one final lesson, that a quiet mind is not an empty mind, it's a free one, and freedom was always the point.